Hi everybody, and welcome back to Off the Shelf Book Talk with Book People. I'm here, Elizabeth Nelson here with Kay Johnson, and what have you been reading this time, Kay?
Well, first I want to comment before I talk about books. We are back in the studio.
Yay!
This is a big day for us. The last time you saw us, we were in the park.
A little wet to be in the park today.
Yep, and before that, we were not taping.
Together.
Not together. So this is a big day for us.
It is. It's good
So
to be
what
back.
have I been reading? Well, I have to say that I'm on a Sherlock Holmes kick. I'm a huge fan of Sir Conan Doyle, and there seems to be a popular movement of authors writing in the spirit of and writing stories about Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
So I've been reading a bunch of those, and the one I'm reading right now is by it's Bonnie McBird. It's called Unquiet Spirits, and it's like 3 separate stories that actually all come together.
Okay.
And so it's fun. I like Watson. I like Sherlock Holmes a lot. And it's fun to read them. And you know, once you've read the original stories, there aren't any more. You know, so you either have to reread them or you just have to forget it. So I'm really happy that people are getting into the spirit of Sherlock Holmes and are writing more. And there's quite a few I've read. It's fun because they do a good job.
Yeah.
And it's fun to read, and you know, Sherlock Holmes isn't the only one. There's a gal doing Hercule Poirot. For a while, someone did McNally, Archie McNally, and then there's some Ace Atkins does Robert Parker's books, and so there's a bunch of people doing it. So I'm really happy about that because those are all favorites of mine.
Yeah, there was I can't remember the name of the author. The book is called The House of Silk.
Oh, it's Horrocks.
Horrocks. Yeah. Horwitz.
Yes.
There we go. We got it. This is why we work together on these. He'd gotten the okay from the estate to write another Sherlock Holmes book, and I didn't finish that one. But he's writing a book a series. I've read the 2 books and I've talked about them on the show previously, but he's writing a series where he's written himself into the books, he's like the Watson character, and then there's a detective that he works with.
Are those good? I haven't read any.
They are good. The first one is called The Word is Murder, and I can't remember what the name of the second one is, but they were very good. The detective is very similar to very Sherlockian in his way, and there's another book that I read called The Sherlockian, where it's a bunch of people are getting together for a Sherlock convention. Okay. And a Sherlockian is somebody who believes that Sherlock Holmes was a real person and that it wasn't someone in Arthur Conan Doyle's mind. So the whole thing is this person is killed at a convention, and then this one guy that's there starts trying to solve, because it's a locked room murder.
Of course.
So he starts trying to figure it out, and I can't remember if there was somebody who was supposed to be giving a big speech, and they get killed.
Yes,
and
of
so
course.
That one I really liked too. And I think it's kind of fun now with all the fantasy books too, that they're, you know, adding Sherlock Holmes or different book characters into them, such as my Athena Club series I've talked about with the different daughters. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson are in that because Dr. Jekyll's daughter works for them. She's their secretary. But
there's a series of books too. One's by Laurie King, where Sherlock Holmes is married, and he and his wife solve things. Then there's a series with Sherlock Holmes' daughter Lucy, and I like those a lot. I've read a lot of those.
There's another series that must play like with the daughter aspect, because they've been making a Netflix show, and Millie Bobby Brown is playing the daughter.
Okay, I wonder if that's the Lucy ones.
I don't know. It got stopped filming like everything else in the world did when all this broke down. So, but it's a fun. I think it's fun when you can see old characters showing up in new books.
And I think it's really fun, and I'm enjoying it. For those who are Agatha Christie fans, I don't know if you saw Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes.
He's bringing out a second film in October, and I think it's Death on the Nile.
Okay.
Which is a really good book. And so he again is Hercule Poirot, and he's on a Nile vacation.
Must
and
be
ends up,
nice to be a private detective.
Yes. And I think a wealthy heiress gets killed.
Okay.
And it's
No
a pretty
Johnny Depp
good,
this time.
What?
No Johnny Depp this time.
I don't know. I think Johnny Depp's busy being interrogated on the stand.
Well, I think that might have closed, but
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
So, but if you're an Agatha Christie fan and that's a book you have enjoyed, you may want to catch the movie.
I just finished 2 books actually by the author Lucy Foley is her name. And she's very similar to Agatha Christie, I think. The first one I read by her was The Guest List, which takes place on an island, very small island outside of Ireland, I guess. And everybody's there for this wedding.
Oh, I have The Guest List on my Kindle.
Good, you're gonna like it.
So I must have downloaded it at some point.
The book goes back and forth between 2 days before the wedding and then the night of the wedding. And so it's 2 days before when all the guests are getting there. And then the night of the wedding, you just know somebody has been killed. And then it's them trying to find the body and figure out who got killed. And it's a very slow build as you get through all of the different way the characters know each other until like the last maybe 30, 40 pages when everything kind of starts to click.
Okay.
And there's several different twists. How the
good.
different people know and how different people connect. And when you find out who actually did the murder, I was actually wishing it would have been somebody else that got to do it because I felt like they deserved it a little more. I was like, well, no, they deserve to kill the person.
Yes.
But very, very Agatha Christie-esque. And the second one I read by her is called The Hunting Party. And this one, it's the same sort of theme. It's a group of friends that from Oxford that get together every year for New Year's Eve, and they travel somewhere together. And so this time, they go to Scotland in the middle of this huge estate to stay in this lodge, just them.
Is there a storm?
It's a snowstorm.
Of course.
And so this one is also back and forth in time. It starts December 30th, and then it's like 2 days later. And this time you know that somebody got killed and somebody is missing, but you don't know who it is that got killed for a lot longer than in the guest list. But again, it was really good. Interesting way she connected things again, and it was really nice to just read like a good old fashioned like locked whodunit. Everybody's stuck here in the snow, and yeah,
I like those a lot.
I do too, and they're not super thick books, so that I read them really quick. I probably stayed up way too late with a 4-year-old to read it to finish the guest list. I read that one first. It was recommended on a book YouTube that I follow, and so I was at Costco and I saw it, so I grabbed it, and then I finished it, and then realized I had no more books at the cabin.
That would be bad.
So my husband was running into town, and so I told him, I said, hey, just stop in the book section and pick up a book for me to read. And instead of just like grabbing one that he saw, he took a picture of the entire book row at Target and said, I don't know what you've read, so find a book and send me a picture. So while he stood there in the aisle while I looked through all 4 of the pictures until I found one, and that's when I saw the second book by her. So, but yeah, they were both quick reads and good old-fashioned mystery books. Nothing too gory or anything like that, which was kind of refreshing.
I like my murders clean.
Yes.
That's right.
I agree.
Well, in the spirit of mysteries, I've been reading some Earl Stanley Gardner, which is famous for his Perry Mason.
Yes.
And I've read The Drowning Duck. And let's see.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that, but I am.
Yeah, and just saying, I have more. I just can't seem to find them. The Terrified Typist. And let's see. Those two for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've happened to see the HBO.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm a little torn. I like my Raymond Burr as Perry Mason.
Well, I'm with you on that one. And the only thing, though, is when you read Earl Stanley Gardner's books, Perry Mason is a much more active fellow. And the new series on HBO is patterned after the original books, not... Although you will never convince me that Raymond Burr is not Perry Mason.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it was one we looked into starting, but I think the same week that one came out, the I'll Be Gone in the Dark miniseries came out, which is based on Michelle McNamara's book about the Golden State Killer. And so that took precedent for me, and I couldn't watch two at the same time.
Not even you.
No, because I knew that Michelle McNamara's documentary that was going to focus on her process of writing the book, and she passed away partway through finishing the book, and so I knew, I was like, as you get closer in the episodes of it, I was like, oh, I know what's coming. And I don't know if I put off like watching the last two episodes because I was like, I know she's going to die and this is going to be really sad, and the whole thing is sad, period, because you're talking about a serial killer case. But it was just like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. But though finishing the series does make me want to go back and read the book again, because it makes they would read parts of what she had written and you forget how well written it was. So
that's true crime. You like true crime.
Yes, as much as one can. I actually got a shirt the other day. It says introverted but willing to discuss true crime. I have never seen a shirt in online on Facebook that I have gone, this is me in a shirt and it has to come home with me now. But so, I mean, I'm thinking I'm probably going to go back and reread that one, but there are times now where I'm like, I have so many books on my to be read shelf still that I don't really want to go back and reread anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have all these books that I haven't read that I should read first.
I hear ya. I've been reading another mystery writer. His name's George Bellars, and he wrote 30s, 40s, 50s, and maybe even in the early 60s. And he's written at least 35, 36 books. And his protagonist is an inspector named Little John, and Little John's sergeant is Cromwell.
Any relation to the Robin Hood Little John?
No. Well, who knows? Yeah, he sort of is in the spirit. No, he doesn't rob from the rich for the poor, though.
That's the first place my mind went when you said Little John.
And the books are really, really quite good. They're English, so if you don't like English books. But Little John works for Scotland Yard, and when someone's killed in a small town and their police force can't solve it, they bring in Scotland Yard, and Little John, usually he and Cromwell usually travels with a suitcase full of like research or
like
books to research, look things up in, and he does his exercises. He's sort of a health nut. And Little John is more laid back, and he sort of goes with the flow. But one of them I read was A Knife for Harry Dodd. And I just finished, before I came here, Crime in Leper's Hollow. And they're pretty good because they're kind of surprising. I enjoy them, and they're often free on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
And so then I pick them up, like Night of the Night Watchman. That's good. And I think I've actually read all of them a few years ago, and now every once in a while.
That wouldn't surprise me if you'd read all of
read
the books
them
about somebody.
again. Yeah. And another one, and I don't know if I have any, but there's a detective named Detective Lavender. And the books take place in the 1830s, before the train.
Oh, yeah.
So they always take coaches.
Okay.
And stuff. And that was kind of fun because you forget that there was a time before trains. And because now they don't take trains either. They either drive or they take some other form of transportation. But Inspector Lavender is clever, and I can't think of his. he has a sergeant too, and where Lavender is upper class and slick, his partner is down home, and anytime they deal with a crime, the partner is in the kitchen with the maids, and Lavender's in the living room with the suits, you know, and stuff. But they're good. There's 6 in that series, plus a couple of short stories, and they have been really fun. I enjoyed. In fact, I was really depressed when they ended. So I thought, because Lavender is single and the first one is married and has children by the last one, and so you kind of follow their life. And so I felt bad when that was over. So I highly recommend, and I can't think of her name, but
there's no phone there for you to grab.
Yeah, I know. Where's my phone? Darn it. But if you do a Google search for Inspector Lavender, they're based on the true exploits of a guy named Lavender. And stuff. But the books are all fictional and stuff. So that's good. So what else have you read?
I finished let me double check if it's the 8th or the 9th book. It is the 9th book in the Maggie Hope series.
Oh, was it good?
The King's Justice, yes. Our heroine, fearless Maggie Hope, spy, secretary. Now in this book, she's defusing bombs.
Of course.
In England.
During World War II, right?
During World War II, yes. So it was a couple of books back, she had been chasing a serial killer who was copying Jack the Ripper. That was called the Blackout Beast.
Yes.
So in this book, the Blackout Beast, he was caught at the end of that book, so in this book he's being sentenced. And so at the beginning of the book he's found guilty and he's sentenced to death. And so the book plays into the countdown to when he's going to be put to death. And while they're going through this, she wants nothing to do anymore with her spy life, doesn't want to solve any more mysteries. So of course there's another serial killer that's popping up in London that is leaving suitcases full of bones and a little white feather and is killing conscientious objectors. And they're calling him Jimmy Greenteeth. I guess that's based off of some legend about like a lake monster or something like that. And so, and this person wants them to have the Blackout Beast sentence commuted to a life sentence. And for that to happen, he needs a pardon from the king or the King's Justice. And so this is them. This is Maggie trying to adjust to her new life, not getting involved, but getting involved and trying to figure out who the bad guy is. And this one I really liked because a little less spy and intrigue and what's behind, and more of a classic mystery. And the ending of the book leaves it wide open for book 10 because there's a crime at the end that she finds out about and is going to have to jet off and solve. So it was interesting. She's a bit, I guess you could say, kind of jaded in this book. A lot more smoking, a lot more drinking, a lot more kind of a chip on her shoulder than the Maggie Hope from the first couple of books where she's more
innocent,
yeah, not quite as beat down from the war, but it's still good. I still love Maggie Hope.
So have you read any of Maisie Dobbs?
I listened to the first half of the first book, and then the library took it back.
Oh,
because apparently everybody wants to read Maisie Dobbs this lockdown, because now there's like there were 13 people ahead of me to get it back.
Maisie Dobbs is really one of my very favorite.
Yeah, you and Mom and Nana.
Yeah, and it's by Jacqueline Winspear, and she's done a book a year, and now this year she's bringing out a autobiography about herself, which like, who cares? I don't care about you, Jacqueline. I'm more interested in Maisie Dobbs.
I want to know about Maisie.
And and so, and then one of her books, when you talked about the feathers, white feathers killing the conscientious objectors, one of her books is called either Red Feather or White Feather. Okay. And that's kind of the plot of it. But if you haven't read Maisie Dobbs, her books start before World War I. Okay. And then the last one was beginning of World War II. And some of the, and there's a lot of reoccurring characters.
Yeah.
Her friend Priscilla has 3 boys, and her work partner has 2 boys.
Okay.
And so as World War II approaches, that they're all going to be drafted or enlist. And in the last book, I think, or maybe it was 2 books ago, her her husband's Douglas, her son skipped out to help with the Dunkirk. Okay. And he lost an arm. And so that's been sort of, but of course he'll have to do something undercover, I suppose, or work for the
They
government.
always wind up working for the government.
And but I really like Maisie Dobbs a lot, and she sort of is a Maggie Hope.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. And so if you like realistic female protagonists, those are great books to read.
Yeah, I kind of wished I would have gone back maybe and reread the last couple of, because it's been, this book came out when the book by Eric Larson's book about Churchill came out, because I put the hold down for both of them at the same time, and because everything was locked down, and then even books have to go through a quarantine when they come back, it took me a while to get this one. So I was but it's been a while between books, and then I was hoping when I was going through my Goodreads that it would say when the next one was coming up, but there's nothing there yet, and I was like, oh, come on.
Well, that's the
you
part
can write a little quicker.
Killer, yeah. Because you read one, and it's like, now at least a year, or now because of Jacqueline Winsberg doing her autobiography, we have to wait 2 years for Maisie Dobbs, and then we had to wait an extra year for Cork O'Connor, because William Kent Kruger decided to do a tender something or other, and that was the end of that. So I think maybe this year is.
Well, I think it was a couple weeks ago, the date that George R.R. Martin had said if the book wasn't out by this time, then fans could be mad at him, passed with no book. So
I sort of think he's a pain.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that situation, but I've sort of just accepted that maybe when Alex is ready to go to college, by then I should have it to read.
Yeah, who knows?
But
he never seems to meet deadlines.
Well, and somebody had said too, he's working on a really old Apple computer too, that like they don't like update or anything anymore. So like if it dies, it's just gone or something.
Now, why would you ever want to work on a computer that you can't do anything with?
I don't know. I don't even like working on the computer when I have to half the time. But that's going to do it for us for this week. So we are going to say goodbye until next time. If you find anything we should read or check out during this COVID lockdown craziness, reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram, or send us an email at offtheshelfbooktalk@gmail.com, and we'll see you next time.